Hello, builders, parents, and collectors. On this episode of the Creation Evaluation Station, I'll be evaluating this little guy here, Captain America Outrider Attack. And I believe it is from the Avengers Endgame series, since Captain America is here in his white suit. We're sort of doing this since for the 4th of July. I know it's late, but I haven't been feeling the best. And I've been also really busy with things going on with the 4th, other things with work and such. But how more America can you get than Captain America, right? So yeah, we're going to look at this chunky motorcycle here. Before I get into it any further, though, I'd like to let new viewers know that I do in-depth reviews of models and construction kits, both new and old, mostly Lego here, but other products as well. I also do reviews and discussions of other creative works such as movies, video games, and animation. Now, because these are in-depth reviews, they can be on the long side, although it shouldn't be too bad. It's not too big of a set. And there are timestamps down embedded here in the bottom and also in the description that you can use to jump around to watch your favorite parts or to use as bookmarks to come back to at a later date. So, let's take a closer look at that box. We got several figures there and one big chunky motorcycle, including Captain. So how many figures got 4 in total. This is what the back looks like. He's shooting it up there. All the bad guys. Yeah. So, anyways, getting down to its details. It is set number 76123. Kind of a funny number. It's for ages 6 and up, and has 167 pieces in it, and originally retailed for $19.99, but is no longer available. It was released in April of 2019. So this is a fun looking set. I like motorcycles, even the big chunky kinds. I know they're not everybody's favorite, but yeah, this is gonna be a little fun set. Got a lot of bad guys. It's definitely almost an army builder set with the 3 different Outriders, and they are different. There's 2 that look the same, but 1 that's different. Anyways, let's go open them up and see what's inside. Here we have the contents of the box, and we've got our instruction booklet here. It's a little bit wrinkly. It's been sitting on its side for a while. We have some in stickers here. Not too many, only 3. Very surprised about that. And now this is not divided into steps like a lot of them are, so I did all the pieces all at once here, but we did have several, 4 bags. One was simply the special effects parts here, the blast pack or something it's called. So we got that in nice bright orange, so we got plenty of firepower in there. We have 1 bag here with the larger stuff in it. It's got some of the body parts. And then we've got another smaller bag over here with some of the heads. And we also got some beautiful printed pieces here. We've got these discs that are great. There's 3 of them. I don't know if that means there's an extra one. If that's true, that's great. Oh, looking at the instructions booklet, they're actually the ammo. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Then we have his shield printed, of course, and his helmet with the printing on it. There it is. So, yeah, some nice pieces there. And then over here we have the last bag with all the little pieces in it. Some transparent pieces. And we got tons of these gold claws that they all use. So if you need gold claws, this is set for you. But yeah, we got actually quite a few pieces in here. I'm surprised they didn't at least divide this up into 2 steps. But yeah, that's it. Let's go put it together. Here we have the leftover parts in here, and there's not a lot of really fancy stuff. We do have 1 pair of these golden claws. We've got a single pistol in black, trans orange piece, and there was another hollow stud piece, but I dropped it and I can't find it, and hence that's why you have extra pieces for those little pieces that every once in a while get away from you. I'll probably still find it eventually. There is one other leftover piece, and that is this disc for the shooter, an extra one, which is kind of nice considering it is a printed disc with the lovely Avenger symbol on it. Maybe got some slight opacity issues with it, but it's still nice. Would have been nice to gotten some more that they could have used instead of the stickers that they gave us, which would have been a simple thing to do. We've got our characters here for the set. We've got Captain America here, of course, and all the Outriders. Both these guys are all the title of the set has all these guys in it, so it makes sense that they're here. So nothing too interesting to talk about their accessories. I'm not quite sure why the one guy only has one arm or one set of arms and the armor piece. He's, I don't know, maybe he's supposed to be a commander or something, while these guys are all-out assaults. Why they have you know, 4 extra arms, but I'm going to strip these down so we can take a closer look at the prints, but only the first 2 here. No point in stripping these guys down because all these Outriders have exactly the same bodies. Just their arm and number of them are different for some reason. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got these 2 guys stripped down to the gear. The other 2 look exactly like this one, so nothing new there. Captain America, his face, you know, the opacity could probably be better. It does look a little bit blue underneath that skin of his. And the printing on the torso and the legs look amazing. Oh, and the feet as well. I mean, yes, this is something we've seen before, because they all wear the same uniform, but I think it still looks nice despite all that. And then we have the bad guy here, and he looks quite scary. He's printing on his face and that chest. There's some kind of weird scary face going on there as well. It's kind of creepy. But I think that's the point. And the back looks just the same. This is a creepy face back there as well. Interesting look in the back of the head. The Captain here does have a double second face here on the back, which is easy to hide with his helmet on, and the print is also nice there on the back. Be nice maybe if they had some arm printing on them, but other than that, not too bad looking, but overall looking pretty good, I'd say. So we've got everything assembled here. We've already looked at all the figures, which are quite a few here. So we're just gonna sweep the bad guys away. And we're gonna look at Captain here for just a moment, because he's sitting in the seat. And he sits in there pretty easy. He's only got 2 little studs that he attaches to. You could, if you for some reason wanted him to, you could have him standing there as well. But he sits down there pretty easy. There's no place for his shield, but he can hold it pretty easily while sitting here, especially if you have it off to the side. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Now, the motorcycle rolls really good, and it is very well balanced, even though it's kind of a larger, chunky one. It does have a kickstand, but even if you have the kickstand up, it actually sits pretty good without toppling over. But you can definitely use that if you've got a slope surface or whatever, and you want to keep it from sliding around too much. But it really doesn't need it too much. Now, we've got these lovely flames coming out of the back with the exhaust here, and they can be moved around if you'd like. And its other action feature here is here in the front. You can see here there are disc shooters, and to activate them you actually just press on these red pieces back here and they fire off pretty good. And the bulk of the design is kind of based around that feature, which I'll talk a little bit more about when we get back to the desk. And the other thing here that we have are these guns on the front. Now, yes, they move, but that's not their real feature point. Their feature point is simply that they can be taken off like this, and they have a handle so a minifigure can hold onto them. Now granted, these are really large, long weapons, and to have somebody stand and use them, you'd have to stand them way back, and you might want to take these blast parts off as well. But yeah, and both of them pop off, so you can have two. You can have them dual wielding both of them, blasting the crap out of everything, or you can put it back on the bike as additional firepower there. So that's pretty neat. Other than that, there's not too much going on here. We do have opposable light here on the front, but you gotta be careful because it does like to pop off real easy. And this top fender piece likes to, or can move too as well. But it does move the light, which can, like I said, make it pop off. Handlebars here, they are on a hinge, can move them as you see fit. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Can load up these right back here in the front. I was a little bit skeptical when building this. I'm like, how well is this system here going to work? This firing mechanism, but it worked pretty well. Yeah, there we go. Locked and loaded. So let's head back to the desk. We're back here at the desk. I'll give you my final thoughts, my overall thoughts, and my final evaluation. Overall, I thought this was not too bad of a set. I understand this motorcycle is probably not to everybody's liking. I don't mind that it's a big chunky motorcycle. I don't want to talk too much more about that until I get into details with the final eval, but this set overall definitely feels like has quite a lot of figures, and mostly the bad guys here. So it feels very much like it is almost an army builder, which is nice. Don't get too many of them, except usually in Star Wars. But other instances where you need an army, like this, these guys were part of an army. It's one thing that everybody's all hyped about, you know, nowadays is usually getting new figures and stuff like that. But back in the day, you wanted more of just regular figures because you could build an army with them. But when you have named figures like Captain America, and you don't need 20 of them, yeah, you're going to want unique versions of that figure so you can use them in different situations. But army building is kind of fun too. So, I think that's it for that. We'll get down to the details. Some of the other things I want to mention will come out in that. But overall, I think this isn't a bad set. As far as appearance goes, printing on these guys look amazing. I like this motorcycle, but I can understand people not liking it. It's not really super slick. It's on the chunkier side. I think it even kind of is supposed to reference, you know, some of the motorcycles Captain America used to drive back in, you know, during the World War. World War II and stuff, which were not the sleekest things, but were functional. This thing is definitely functional and practical because it's loaded with weapons, which is what you need right now versus all these. So as far as appearance, I gave appearance a 9. Just took a point off basically because basically the appearance of the motorcycle. I know it's not going to be everybody's favorite. It even, I like it, but even mine, it's not really my favorite. There's cooler looking bikes out there. Now, moving on to function, and also related to appearance, part of why this looks the way it does is it's very much built around the function of this bike, which is the disc shooters. This is built around those disc shooters and the actual trigger function. I mean, you could have just slapped some disc launchers on it, like I've seen them do many times. But there's a trigger function involved in this, and it's built around that. And that's why I think they sacrificed a bit of the appearance for the functionality of the thing. Although I think what they came out with was still pretty cool. I love the, flames coming off the back and stuff. And, between that and slapping these guns on the front, you got some heavy firepower coming from a motorcycle, which I think that's pretty cool. But as far as function, yeah, I think even though they did sacrifice some of the appearance for the function, I think the function is done really well. That I was surprised how well the firing mechanism actually works. And this thing rolls really good despite it looking kind of chonky. It's well balanced. It rolls pretty easily. And doesn't even, though it is chonky, it doesn't even topple over too much from side to side. It's funny, I was building, I'm like, hey, this is standing up on its own. But then they actually had me put the kickstand on, and that's actually what made it fall over, because it was more weight on one side because of that. But once you get some of the other stuff on here, it actually counteracts that. Even the small kickstand there, and it doesn't topple over quite so easy. And then you do have the kickstand to catch it as well. So as far as function goes, I gave it a 10. Now, fun, it was an interesting build, just kind of fun to build, seeing how it came together. It definitely, while you're building it, at first doesn't really look like a motorcycle, but the build was definitely on the fun side. And then, as far as narratively going here, I mean, yes, one bad guy, or one good guy, two bad guys, or three bad guys, and you think, oh, the cutout numbers. But I think this motorcycle does a good thing as equalizing the story going on here, and we definitely easily have a story going on here. This is, part of the invasion of Thanos's troops, and Captain America's going at it, shooting them down. The perfect, I think a perfect balance here for fun, and like I said, it's a fun build as well. So I gave fun a 10. Now, techniques. Like I said, I really like how this functions, and the techniques they use to create the function was pretty nice. Overall, the rest of it is nothing fancy, but they did some really neat stuff with the function in here to get it to function and still look good. Like I said, they did sacrifice it looking really awesome and smooth, but they still didn't completely sacrifice its appearance. It does not look utterly ugly. And I ended up giving technique a 10. So take all that up, you end up with a 39, and you divide that by 4 and you get a 9.75, and we round up to the nearest half, which ends up giving this a 10. Now, I want to talk briefly about the price. It's no longer available, so it doesn't really matter too much. I was looking at Brickset there, and you can get this relatively cheap around the original price. Maybe a little bit more expensive, but not too much. Not like even double its original price. But that aside, it originally retailed for $19.99 and had 167 pieces. And you do the math, and it's 11 cents per piece, but it's almost 12 cents per piece. Now, okay, that's above average, so that's not good. Well, it's not that much above average. And if you sit and think about it a little bit more, you'll realize that the price is not really that bad. For one, the piece count is deceiving, because the weapon pieces here, the bright orange stuff, all of those combined only counts as one part. They count that whole bag of accessory pieces, whatever you want to call them, as one. So there's actually a few more pieces in there than that. On top of that, you have a crazy number of figures in here, and they do put a little bit more value onto those figures. And like, there's quite even a few pieces in some of these with the claws and stuff going on with the bad guys. So that might be where your little extra money is going. I think it's still worth its value, and I would have probably given it a G for good. But that's unofficial. I'm not making that because it's no longer available, and you're probably not going to find it at that price anyways. But yeah, the pricing is not terrible at all. Would like to see it cheaper, possibly, but I still think even at 20, you're getting your value here with so many figures. Like 4 figures for 20 bucks plus a build, I think that's a pretty good deal. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please like it. And if you have not yet or are new to the channel, if you would subscribe, that would be great. We're up to 325 or 324, somewhere around in there. For some reason will bounce back every now and then. Weird bobbling of subscriber numbers, but we're slowly working there, and anything you do will be greatly appreciated. If you do subscribe and hit the follow, hit the bell for notifications. I would also check out my links down in the description for Facebook and Twitter, because I tend to get notifications out faster on there. So if you want to follow me on one of those sites that you use normally, then please do so. There's also Patreon if you want to check that out. There's not really much there, but it's set up with the bare bones at the moment. And that's pretty much it for me here at the Creation Evaluation Station, reminding you to have happy 4th of July, even though this came out after that. I hope you did. And to that creativity is key.